नमस्कार, मैं आपकी होस्ट शिप्रा इब्राहिम आस्क आवर एक्सपर्ट्स के एपिसोड 31 यानी कि 31 में आपका हार्दिक स्वागत करती हूँ। पिछले हफ्ते हमने सेमीकंडक्टर्स और उससे जुड़े सेमिकॉन इंडिया 2025 इवेंट के बारे में बात की थी। उस एपिसोड को मिले जबरदस्त फीडबैक के बाद और सेमिकॉन इंडिया इवेंट में हम सब के लिए हमारी एक्साइटमेंट के बाद हम आप सभी की मांग पे आज एडिशन 2 लेकर आए हैं। सेमीकंडक्टर्स के क्षेत्र में भारत की यात्रा केवल टेक्नोलॉजी तक ही सीमित नहीं है। इट इज ऑल्सो अबाउट सेल्फ रिलायंस, इनोवेशन एंड लेइंग द फाउंडेशन फॉर ग्लोबल लीडरशिप। और इसीलिए आप सभी को यह जानकर खुशी होगी कि सेमिकॉन इंडिया 2025 का उद्घाटन स्वयं प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी 2 सितंबर को यशोभूमि में करेंगे। Friends, government and private sector are aligning to build capacity and strengthen the semiconductor ecosystem in the country. इसी बात पर बात करने के लिए आज हमारे साथ 3 प्रतिष्ठित हस्तियां हैं जो इस पर अपने दृष्टिकोण, अनुभव और सलाह शेयर करेंगी। सबसे पहले एक बार फिर हमारे साथ जुड़ रहे हैं श्री अमितेश कुमार सिन्हा जी, एडिशनल सेक्रेटरी मेटी और इंडिया सेमीकंडक्टर मिशन के सीईओ। His leadership has been at the heart of driving India's semiconductor vision and shaping strategies for our country's chip ecosystem. I welcome you to the show, sir.
Thank you.
स्वागत करती हूँ कर्नल अनुराग अवस्थी जी का, सीईओ एस्केप वेलोसिटी मीडिया वर्क्स। यह कंपनी भारत के रक्षा, एरोस्पेस और क्रिटिकल टेक्नोलॉजी सेक्टर्स को गति प्रदान करने पर केंद्रित है। कर्नल अवस्थी has been playing a key role in policy frameworks, research reports and state level initiatives in the semiconductor sector. I welcome you to the show, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
और इस प्रभावशाली पैनल को पूरा कर रहे हैं श्री प्रताप नारायण सिंह जी, वर्व सेमाई माइक्रो इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स के को फाउंडर एंड चीफ टेक्नोलॉजी ऑफिसर। यह उत्तर प्रदेश का एक स्टार्टअप है जो एनालॉग सिग्नल चेन उत्पाद बनाता है। With over 22 years of rich experience in the semiconductor industry, Mr. Singh brings a spirit of innovation and entrepreneurship that is vital to India's semiconductor mission. मुझे आशा है कि आप सभी ने सेमिकॉन इंडिया 2025 इवेंट के लिए अभी तक रजिस्टर कर लिया होगा। जस्ट इन केस अगर अभी तक आपने नहीं किया है तो अभी आप सेमिकॉन इंडिया इवेंट की वेबसाइट पर जाइए और रजिस्टर कीजिए। रजिस्ट्रेशन के बाद आपके रजिस्टर्ड ईमेल आईडी और मोबाइल नंबर पर एक डिजिटल बैज भेजा जाएगा। सेमिकॉन इंडिया वेबसाइट का URL www.semiconindia.org अभी आपकी स्क्रीन पे दिखाई दे रहा है। तो बिना किसी देरी के चलिए हम अपनी बातचीत शुरू करते हैं। Please send your questions for our experts in the live chat. Remember, the best ones will be rewarded with the award of Digital India Question Ninjas. Amitesh sir, I'll start with you. What is the vision of Semicon India policy and why is it important for the technological Atmanirbharta of our country?
Thank you for asking this question. Semiconductor is a foundational industry and very strategic to the country. We all know that in every device, electronic device, whether it is a small device or very complicated device like space and space defense and other kind of things, semiconductor chips are required. So our policy strategy is first to achieve Atmanirbharta, self-reliance. When we talk about self-reliance, then we talk about different aspects of semiconductors. One aspect is design. So design is our forte. Why I am saying this? Because the world design engineers has a large pool of Indian engineers. Approximately 20% are from Indian origin people. And they are working for all global major giants like Broadcom, Qualcomm, Nvidia and all that. So we see a great opportunity here to hone our domestic talent, and that's why a design link incentive scheme has been prepared under the Semicon India program to nurture our startups to our MSMEs and to have our own startup semiconductor design companies, which one day will become a very big company like Broadcom and Qualcomm. So this is one mission. Second is that in fabrication and packaging, which is fabrication of semiconductor chips, and packaging is the next step before they are finally placed into any board or any component sub-assembly. So that is also required, where we are right now concentrating on legacy nodes, which is starting from 180 nanometer, which was earlier available to us through our government laboratory, semiconductor laboratory. Now Tata project has been approved. So from 110 nanometer to 90 to 55 to 40 to 28 nanometer, all these nodes are covered by the Tata fab. In semiconductor fabrication, plants are called fab. And then for packaging, we have approved 8 packaging units, including 2 very big ones from Micron and Tata. And these packaging units are also having legacy packaging, which is traditional, and very sophisticated 3D heterogeneous packaging, which is modern day technology. Apart from this, we want to become a very reliable and trusted player in global supply chain. Semiconductors is really a global industry. No one country has all the facets of semiconductor ecosystem. So our next strategy is to develop a complete ecosystem. Complete ecosystem means that we should have supporting utilities infrastructure also for supplying semiconductor grade purity chemicals, gases, materials, and then equipment manufacturing, which is a very, very important piece of entire semiconductor plant. So 70% capex of the semiconductor plant is coming from equipment cost only. So these are the areas where we want to concentrate. I see that in design we'll be leading in coming future. In legacy nodes, we will be self-reliant. In packaging, we will be self-reliant, and we will take lead in advanced packaging, which is a very, very important area going forward in the future. And we will set up a complete ecosystem so that anybody who wants to set up their shops in India, they will not be hesitant and they will be comfortable in doing it quickly.
Thank you, sir. Colonel Avasthi, I'll speak with you about the global perspective. In the context of global subsidies, how competitive is India's incentive framework to attract global semiconductor investments?
Right, ma'am. Amitesh ji has already brought out the sterling work which is being done by the India Semiconductor Mission. I would like to tell the viewers that, this is just 3 to 3.5 years back then this was conceived. In 3 to 3.5 years, the kind of work the Indian Semiconductor Mission has done is, I think, it's outstanding, to say the least. Now, ma'am, since you asked me about the subsidies, firstly, I'd like to, tell and dispel all, fears and all of these, things that people have in their minds, that why do you require the government to give subsidy and all of that. See, when you go back in 1987 also, TSMC was also essentially given subsidies by the government. In fact, it was government owned till as late as 2011. So the whole argument that, why does the government need to give subsidy itself is flawed. Now, having said that, if you look at the India Semiconductor Mission, and one has studied enough policy in the world to get into various kind of policy frameworks, the India Semiconductor Mission in policy terms is the best in the world. It's the best in the world. Nobody gives you 50% pari passu anywhere in the world. That is one to start with insofar as the production part of it is concerned. Now, insofar as the production part is concerned, Amitesh has already brought out very clearly the kind of efforts which have been made in the last 3 to 3.5 years, and see how the facilities are coming up. In various states, Gujarat, you're looking at Assam, you're looking at Punjab now, you're looking at Andhra Pradesh. So it is scattered, while centers of excellence are coming up the way they have to come, and so many projects have been sanctioned to include fabs, ATMPs, and various other issues like discrete semiconductors and glass also as we speak today. So the entire mosaic has been catered for. Now coming to the design. Now, ma'am, a lot of people have this, myth that, there's a design is a great powerhouse in India, and, there's not much impetus to the design and all of that. So let me give you a couple of statistics, especially for the viewers. All of you will be surprised to know that the cumulative EDA tools usage has been more than 120 lakh plus hours, which has been given by the Ministry of Electronics and IT in the year 2025. By how many organizations? 350 plus. It is something phenomenal. This is supporting nearly 100 plus lakh hours by 280 academic institutions, which is a very tall order. While a lot of people may not understand this because it doesn't come into the mainstream media, this is the way it is. And nearly 20 lakh plus hours by nearly 72 to 73 startups. This is the statistics insofar as the EDA tools is concerned. 70 plus chips have been taped out via MPW service through the chip-in center, whether it is at 180 nanometers, we are not getting into the nanometer paradigm, by SCL Mohali under C2S program, which is outstanding. 60,000 students have been enrolled in BTech, MTech and PhD level under the C2S program, which has been spearheaded by Amitesh ji and the India Semiconductor Mission. 10 plus chips have already been fabricated by startups in the DLI scheme. Production and scale-up plans obviously will come as the time goes by. 23 projects from 22 companies have been approved for financial support for chip design by the Ministry of Electronics and IT. And 10 companies have secured 500 plus crores in ventures in capital funding to commercialize their prototypes. Obviously, their funding, post the funding, their valuation will be 2x, 3x, 10x in times to come. Now, if you look at this entire metrics of the policy, you've catered for the production part of it, you catered for the design part of it, you've catered for the startups part of it, you've catered for the innovation part of it, and you've catered for the workforce development part of it. There is no other policy in the world which looks at these kind of subsidies, ma'am, when you look at the entire spectrum in the global affairs today.
Right. Thank you, sir. I'll go to Mr. Singh now. Sir, your company specializes in a semiconductor-related product. If you can please brief about the analog signal chain products, and what gap in the semiconductor industry were you aiming to fill when you founded your company back then?
So, thanks for asking this question. Basically, for any electronic system, if we just want to see them like a human body, right? Human body is also a system. So, क्या होता है कि हमारे पास एक CPU होता है जो हमारा दिमाग है, हमारे पास सेंसर्स होते हैं, चाहे वो हमारी आंखें हों, चाहे वो हमारे कान हों, नाक हों, मुंह हों, ये सारे हमारे सेंसर्स हैं, और कुछ एक्चुएटर्स होते हैं जैसे हमारे हाथ पैर हैं,
राइट,
इनको हम एक्चुएटर बोलते हैं. तो इसमें क्या होता है कि एक अगर हम CPU जो कि हमारे लैपटॉप वगैरह में भी होता है, अगर हम उसको बोलें कि ये CPU है, तो उसके साथ ये जो सामान लगता है जो हमारी आंखें, कान और मुंह हैं, वो बेसिकली क्या करते हैं कि फिजिकल वर्ल्ड में जो कुछ भी है, जैसे हम जो भी देखते हैं, सुनते हैं, टच करते हैं, इस फिजिकल वर्ल्ड की इंफॉर्मेशन को डिजिटल वर्ल्ड में पहले पहुंचाना ज़रूरी होता है, उससे पहले कि हम उसे प्रोसेस करें. तो मेरी कंपनी जो है वो ऐसे डिवाइसेस बनाती है जो कि फिजिकल वर्ल्ड में जो कुछ भी हो रहा है, चाहे सेंसर्स हों, चाहे वो किसी तरीके का एक्चुएशन हो, किसी चीज़ को कंट्रोल करना हो या किसी चीज़ को सेंस करना हो, बिफोर इट गोज़ टू द CPU, इट गोज़ थ्रू आवर चिप्स, आवर IPs. So this place is, it's like, the good you have your eyes, the better you can see. So it's like the CPU कितना भी strong हो, अगर आपके हाथ, पैर, आँख, नाक सही से काम नहीं कर रहे हैं, तो there will be limitation in your productivity, and we are trying to fill that gap.
Right, sir. Thank you for the explanation, sir. Sir, I'll come back to the global context we were talking about. How is India collaborating with the international players in semiconductor manufacturing and R&D space?
We are already a partner with USA, Europe, Japan, and Singapore. So we have signed memorandum of understanding and memorandum of cooperation with them. And we are partnering with many other countries like Taiwan, like Korea, Malaysia, Philippines, and other countries. So for example, when I am talking about the collaboration, we have many technology partners. So we have approved 10 projects so far for production and fabrication and packaging including. So if you see the Tata project, the partners are Taiwan PSMC. If you see some of the other packaging units, there are technology partners coming from Taiwan. Again, I will say the name, I will take few names from Taiwan. And then from Japan, we have Renesas and we have AOI. They are the two companies. Again, we'll go to Malaysia and South Korea. We have APACT. From many companies are collaborating with Infineon, NXP. So again, they are European country. And we have also approved 3D glass package, which is technology coming from USA. So everywhere you will see, and Micron is again a US company. So we are getting technology cooperation from all the sides, all the countries, and we have a very good relation with all of them. So whenever we meet and we talk to each other, there is a wholehearted support, and all the country, they believe that India is a place where for stabilization purposes, there is need to be large scale manufacturing in India, because India is considered as a trusted and reliable player in the global supply chain. We are the largest democracy. So whatever way we will do, we will give lot of comfort to other parts of the world. in terms of supply of chips or in terms of design of chips and all that.
Thank you, sir. Sir, Colonel Avasthi, I'd like to know from you also that how do these partnerships influence India's semiconductor roadmap under the policy?
Ma'am, as Amitesh ji has brought out, see, there is something very important which we need to understand, which Amitesh ji brought out initially itself, that this is a technology which is, can't be made by just one person. That is very important. So when you look at the entire world and when you see who's doing what, when you look at equipment, bulk of the equipment is being created in the United States today. When you're looking at IPs, they are generating more IPs. When you're looking at, ultraviolet and extreme ultraviolet, there's a player in Europe which makes it, which is in fact the complete hegemony of it. When you're looking at packaging, you have China and Malaysia and all of that. When you're looking at that, when you're looking at fabrication facilities or you're looking at production facilities, you have Japan, you have Singapore, you have Korea, which form part of the entire calculus. So when you look at it, and then on top of it, of course, there is supply chain of gases and chemicals, which has been brought out very elaborately, and you more than 150 of them. And a lot of people gloss over it, saying that they are just chemicals and gases. Please understand, chemicals and gases, they are pyrotoxic. Look at the amount of problems of storage first, then cartage, then handling, then getting them down, then movement, then back to storage, then their shelf life, then their usage, and then of course their destruction and then their disposal. Look at this chain, it is very complex. So while it looks very simple to a lot of people, they say, oh, there's 150 chemicals and gases, it's a very, it's a very tall order to look at it. Now, having said that, with this, with this segmentation of these various issues of equipment and supply chains and where the fabs are, where the the packaging facilities are, it has to be an era of collaboration. So, you already have collaborated. Tata's collaborated with PSMC, CG Power is with Renesas, which is Japan. Then you're looking at various other players who's come in, like the new people like who've been approved, like ASIP has got APAC, which is South Korea. But there are a lot of other things that you can learn from these people. Taiwan, you require fab experience, fab floor experience. You require a lot of process management. There's a lot of workforce development that you can do with Taiwan. When you look at Korea, Korea is a world leader in memory and display. I mean, the display in India, you have 1.4 billion people. Display is going to be a very, very important segment in the India Semiconductor mission as time goes by, because you are great users of display. When you're looking at Japan, you already have a very great MOU. As we speak, Honorable Prime Minister is today in Japan. He's speaking with the Prime Minister as we speak today. It's a great day to speak about with Japan. When you're looking at Singapore, you have a great MOU with Singapore, as Amitesh ji has brought out very clearly. US, of course, you have a very vibrant ISET program, which is doing a lot of work insofar as the technology is concerned. And corollary to this is there's an INDUSX program which looks at the startups and technologies in the defense and aerospace sector. That's quite a hefty program. So they will converge at some stage in point. Malaysia is a very big packaging player. So since our packaging facilities are developing as we speak today, there'll be a lot of change of manpower. Will be a lot of collaborations which will occur in times to go by. So I think without collaborations, I think no man is an island today in the world. Without collaborations, you can't possibly nurture this technology, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
I just want to add to Avasthi ji that if you see the SEMICON India 2025, so you will get example of how we are collaborating with other countries. So in this SEMICON, 4 countries have set up their pavilion. And I have already mentioned that Singapore, Malaysia, Japan and South Korea.
Excellent.
And we are having 6 roundtables, country-specific roundtables, where their manufacturers, suppliers, ecosystem players are coming. And from our side also players are participating along with the government officials. So 6 roundtable include again the 4 which those who are setting up their country pavilion, meaning that Singapore, Malaysia, Japan and Korea, plus USA and Europe. So 6 country roundtables are there. So you can understand what kind of collaboration and synergy we are having with the other country, and everybody, all players are very happy that this journey has started in India, and fully they are supporting this journey.
Thank you for sharing these points with us, sir. Sir, I'll continue with this, like in context of geopolitical tensions and supply chain disruptions, how does that affect India's position, or how India position itself as trusted global partner then?
So far I will tell you, we are all seeing this geopolitical tension, but it is not affecting semiconductor industry. Semiconductor industry is just growing here. And we are going to have 110 billion market in 2030. And since we have just started, and our plans will mainly come from 27, 28, 29 and 30 also. So we are just seeing a few percentage of that, maybe 6 to 7% of the total capacity that will be required in 2030. So if that is the capacity, all chips that will be produced or packaged will be consumed in India largely, though they are free to exports also. And if we will have policy continuity, then further plants will be set up. So that is one aspect. Second is that our chip design companies, they are now growing and startups are growing, and they certainly look towards other foreign markets also. Right now I don't see any threat for that because they are a startup, they are just growing. And the current kind of tension that you are seeing somewhere also, that will be sorted out very soon because all these phenomena are temporary. One is the largest economy democratic country, and one is the largest democracy like India. So ultimately, and there are many signals also. So these things will sort it out. With all other countries, we have a very good relationship, and you have just seen the cooperation that we are getting from them. So I don't see any threat. There is no iota of doubt about any threat. So we think our journey will continue with full efforts and cooperation from all stakeholders.
Very well, sir. Mr. Singh, I'll come to you. While we speak about semiconductor industry, what kind of specific challenges in the chip design does your startup faced that are unique to the semiconductor sector?
See, semiconductor industry by design is a capital intensive industry. So, we have been leading the world for, IT services and IT software for a long time. And the reason is that it is easy to start. In case of semiconductors, what happens is that the initial capital requirement is a big hurdle for someone to even think about this business. And, let's talk in a way like you have one laptop, few people, few rooms, and you can start some IT company and start developing software, creating revenue. In case of semiconductors, nobody even believes you that you have something until you have a silicon which is working and which you can demonstrate. So it is not easy because silicon takes time. It's an industry where you don't rise fast and you don't fall fast. Basically, your rise is slower and fall, I have never seen it, but if it happens, it is also slower because your products will phased out. So any of the semiconductor product cycle is on an average 10 years. So you start selling anything, it will sell for 10 years minimum. For some industries, 25 to 30 years. Like space and defense, people don't want to change something which is already working. So basically, in this industry, if I want to start something or if someone wants to start something, he has to think about how do I get the silicon first. And this silicon first does not come without money, without some kind of support. And that is where, I have seen both worlds. Like when I started my company in 2017, it was, almost nobody knew semiconductors before, ministry became active and they brought up DLI. So at that point of time, when we were starting, we were like, how do we manage this silicon? How do we produce this? And the first thing, and for anyone who is thinking about starting a semiconductor company, think about how fast can you bring a silicon. So we did something which is, from scratch to silicon within 3 to 4 months. And we took that silicon to our customers, which are outside India, by the way. So, and for these customers, we were demonstrating them our chips. See, this is what we have, this kind of technology we have. Are you interested? And believe me, everybody in the world actually values the innovation. Everybody. Means we were welcomed by people who did not even know us. Currently, it is a very different scenario because we have DLI, we have government, the startups which are being started today, they apply to DLI, they are well scrutinized, very nice expert committee. You know, we have 2 more startups which are actually supporting us. It's a joke, but Mighty is one startup and CDAC is another startup. And the people in these 2 startups, they are really working like we work in a startup. They are ready to achieve what they want to achieve, and they are ready to do anything which makes us succeed. This is very, very important step because this is the difference what I am seeing. It is, you know, it is a surprise for many that after DLI comes, there have been more than 500 crore kind of investment in the semiconductor design ecosystem, people designing chips. Keep aside the services companies. And these companies, you know, keeping my company aside, their combined valuation is more than 2,000 crore.
Yes.
Government invested close to 800 crores and built the ecosystem of more than 2,000 crore within 3 to 4 years. Thanks to the people we have, the competency of the people we have in India, and it is very natural because any normal system, I am talking about mathematics, but in any normal binomial distribution you have 3 sigma, right? 3 sigma means something which is rare. But India has 140 crore people. This means we have a big 3 sigma population which is very, very good. And this kind of population can really change the way world operates. The only support they need is they need the capital support, they need the branding support. You know, DLI and Mighty doing all this due diligence for these companies and then giving them subsidy, because this is public money, right? So it has to go with a proper scrutiny, and they are doing this job perfectly the way it should be done. So the companies which are going through this process, they are already respected by the investors.
Yes.
They are already being respected by the customers. This means from the day one, they are a brand. What else do we want?
Yeah, very well, sir. Thank you. Amitesh, sir, now since we started talking about the challenges, if you kindly tell us that how does this policy, Semicon India policy, addresses the issues like infrastructure gaps, skilled manpower, supply chain dependencies, etc.?
So, in Semicon India program, first of all, the policy covers all the spectrum of the program. So, it concentrates on design, fabrication, packaging, and all the aspects of that. In design also, it is comprehensive. It also focuses on skilling. It is also focused on giving training. It also provides support infrastructure for fabrication of design chips. And then it also provides capital incentive. So it's a three-tier structure, and first part is for EDA tools, which is a software. As it was mentioned by our colleague here, that EDA, this is a very capital intensive. EDA tools are very, very costly software, and that government is buying and trying to provide. So that kind of gap in the capital, we are trying to address to the policy that EDA tools are provided free of cost. So now the position becomes like a software. You have a laptop, and tools, which is a very, very costly items, are provided free of cost. Then you are at par with the service industry. Now you use your brain, you hire the manpower, and start doing the work. So that is one. Second is that 50% support we are giving from the design to final tape out. Tape out means fabrication of chips. So that capital burden is shared by us. And then we also provide, if you successfully commercially deploy those chips, we are providing a PLI kind of thing, 6 to 4% on sales value for 5 years. In fabrication plants, again the capital cost needed is very, very high. That's why government is providing 50% of financial support from central government, and all state governments are understanding fully that this is a very, very very, very important sector. They are also trying to attract investment by providing close to 25% of financial support from their side. All other countries where this ecosystem is already set up, including USA, China, Japan, Taiwan. All those countries are also providing very good amount of incentive, close to around 30%, 35%. And India, since we don't have this ecosystem and there are some disabilities, so we are providing this. So first piece of filling the gap is capital support and the knowledge support. Second is that we are also scaling our manpower. Since we have a democratic dividend and we are eyeing that particular aspect of our strength. So as mentioned by Avasthi also, that 60,000 design engineers have been trained through Chips to Startup program and DLI scheme. And India is now running world largest academic support system in the form of EDA tools, which is running in 280 plus institutions, and 72 startups are also availing this facility. Then we have some other arrangements, as Avasthi ji also mentioned, that curriculum changes have been done, and more than 500 colleges are having programs for diploma, undergraduate and postgraduate. We have separate skilling program with private sector also, from industry also. So India Semiconductor Mission along with the ISC Bangalore and LAM Research is also running a parallel program for manufacturing based manpower development. Again, the target there is 60,000 manpower in 10 years time. And there are individual efforts done by companies who are supported by all the approved 10 companies. They are taking help of their technology partners. They are sending their persons to outside India, and they have a academic tie-up within India also to train their facility. And the last leg of ecosystem, the gap, which right now we are thinking is the development of further manufacturing ecosystem in terms of utilities, supply of chemical, gases, materials and equipment. And we have seen a lot of announcements coming from equipment companies. So Lime Research, Applied Material, and now we are seeing synergy from other companies also. So they will set up their R&D center and equipment sourcing also, components, subsystems, and they have already identified many Indian companies who are doing precision engineering and supplying to aviation, supplying to defense. All those companies are now coming close for providing components and sub-assemblies to semiconductor equipments also, and initial success is very, very encouraging. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing those insights, sir. Colonel Avasthi, you have been a part of several and national and international semiconductor research reports. What are the top insights from global experience for India?
Okay, ma'am, that's a very, very important question you asked. Thank you for this. And, Amitesh ji and I have been involved in writing some great reports with a couple of other countries also, shall I add. But, when you're looking at the major insights that you need to look at in these research reports is, ma'am, that the first thing is they're all product-centric. What he just mentioned, product. So that is the entire focus of the Government of India and MeitY, product-centric. That is one. The second thing is that a lot of people have this, misnomer in their mind that, why is it not happening now? Why fast? Why it is not happening by day after tomorrow? It can't. It is technology. It has technology cycles. It takes time. There is a process. There's a method in the madness. It can't happen by day after tomorrow. You're not making a road. You're making something which is going to be powering, as I call it, safety razors to space shuttles. So it takes time. And the third part, what they talk about is scale, ma'am.
Yeah.
Now, when you're looking at the major aspects of these reports, the first thing which strikes you is the IP. The IP is everything. So, IP is the heart of any endeavor that you're doing today in this globally connected world. So, IP, I think, has a very important meaning in the entire this thing. Second, Amitesh has brought out very clearly workforce development. I mean, you're doing so many things here in this country. Just see in the last 3.5 years, you understood the need. B, you galvanized your entire resources. C, you changed the syllabus. D, you looked at all 4 tiers, at the ITI level or, the diploma level, then at the undergrad level, then at the grad level and the postdoctoral level. So you looked at all 4 things. Then something very glaring which comes out of all these foreign research reports is they have a very, very important focus on R&D. So while a lot of people may argue that you're just 0.45% of your GDP which goes into R&D, and you should be 1.5 and 2. Well, they're all academic discussions, and I'm sure there's a lot on play. By the time the next budget comes, there'll be a lot of great things which will happen by that time. Then, of course, the government support to all endeavors. Without that, it's a capital-intensive industry. It's very clearly brought out by both of them. Without that, you can't do it, which is already there. And as I mentioned to you, then there's a lot of supply chain dynamics, ma'am, which they look at. Now, supply chain dynamics is that how you fit into the bigger system. Now, see how the Indian industry has now started, movement towards this. Now, you look at your chemical industry. Yeah. You're the 6th largest in the world. Actually, not many people know it. You contribute 8% to the national GDP, the chemical industry in India. So the issue is just to possibly tweak things from parts per million to parts per billion. It looks very simple, but this incidentally asks for a very huge business case. Initially, there was no business case. Now there is a business case, so you will do it. So there's nothing which is, not available in India, which cannot be done today when you look at these research reports. And the last part is branding, ma'am, which he's already brought out, that with the government, incentives which are being given, you are hitting the ground running, and by the time the government incentives have already merged with your requirements, you already a brand, right? That's how the smaller companies started up. And the last part, I will display all myths, all myths which used to be there earlier, that that era of garage startups is over. It doesnn't work. That used to happen in 70s and early 80s. Now it is capital intensive. So anybody who says, yeah, that I made this, Google is a garage startup and Amazon started in a basement. No, those days are gone. So now it is high technology, high intensive, manpower and high investment. So I think these three issues have been very clearly understood by the government of India. So I think all research reports are pointing to the right direction.
By the way, none of the semiconductor startups or companies worldwide are garage startups.
Then,
not even today, not even then.
थैंक यू सर। मैं आप लोगों को बताना चाहूँगी कि अब हम यूजर्स क्वेश्चंस के साथ शुरू करेंगे, बट सर उससे पहले अमितेश सर मैं आपसे रिक्वेस्ट करूँगी, इफ़ यू कैन प्लीज शेयर द यूनिक अपॉर्चुनिटीज फॉर पीपल दे विल हैव इन सेमिकॉन इंडिया इवेंट 2025।
सबसे पहले मैं अपने व्यूअर्स को बताना चाहता हूँ कि ये हमारा 4th एडिशन है, और इसमें पहले के जो एडिशन्स उसमें से अलग क्या है। तो एक तो अलग है कि कंट्री का सेपरेट पवेलियन है, जो मैंने कहा 4 सेपरेट कंट्रीज़ के पवेलियन हैं। उसके अलावा कंट्री स्पेसिफिक 6 राउंड टेबल्स सेशंस हैं। ये पैरेलल सेशन चल रहे हैं, और इसमें दिन भर का सेशन है जिसमें कि कंट्री के पार्टिसिपेंट्स कंपनीज दोनों साइड से, इंडिया साइड से और कंट्री के साइड से, प्लस उनके मिनिस्ट्री के लोग, हमारे मिनिस्ट्री के लोग, सब लोग एक जगह इकट्ठा होकर के ब्रेनस्टॉर्मिंग कर रहे हैं। इससे 3 चीज़ें होंगी। एक की डिमांड और सप्लाई, जिनका डिमांड क्रिएट कर रहे हैं, जो 10 हमारे अप्रूव्ड एप्लीकेंट्स हैं, वो सामने दिख रहा है। दे आर लुकिंग फॉर सप्लायर्स एंड सप्लायर्स आर लुकिंग फॉर सेलिंग देयर प्रोडक्ट्स। दूसरा है टेक्नोलॉजी ट्रांसफ़र। सो बहुत सारी हमारी कंपनीज जो ऑलरेडी सेमीकंडक्टर के फील्ड में आना चाहती हैं, दे विल हैव टाई अप विद सम ऑफ द कंपनीज कि हमारी कोई टेक्नोलॉजी ट्रांसफ़र हो और हम अपने यहाँ इंडिया में, अपने कंट्री में बनाएं। तीसरा है जॉइंट वेंचर्स एंड कोलैबोरेशन। सो दोनों साइड की कंपनी आपस में मिलकर के जॉइंट वेंचर में भी कुछ प्लान्स लगा सकती है। तो ये यूनिकनेस है इस बार का, जो कि सिनर्जी दोनों साइड से दिख रहा है। इसके अलावा हम लोगों ने एक वर्कफोर्स डेवलपमेंट का इसमें एक बड़ा सेशन रखा है, जिसमें स्टूडेंट्स हमारे आएंगे, उनकी मेंटरिंग होगी कि सेमीकंडक्टर कैरियर क्यों अच्छा है। कुछ सेशंस होंगे जो उनको ट्रेनिंग दिए जाएंगे पैकेजिंग, फैब्रिकेशन, डिज़ाइन के बारे में। उसके अलावा एक्सपर्ट्स वहाँ पर खड़े रहेंगे जो कि उनके क्वेश्चंस को आंसर करेंगे, उनको बताएंगे कि इस इंडस्ट्री में उनके लिए क्या कैरियर अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ हैं और किस तरह के कोर्सेज वगैरह उनको करना चाहिए। तो ये सब यूनिक अपॉर्चुनिटी इस बार सेमिकॉन में आएगी।
थैंक यू सर। सर इसी से हम अपना पहला क्वेश्चन ले लेते हैं। स्वाति वर्मा जी पूछ रही हैं, सेमिकॉन इंडिया 2025 में क्या आम जनता और छात्र आ सकते हैं?
बिल्कुल आ सकते हैं, ये आप ही के लिए है। और जो हमने अभी तक रजिस्ट्रेशन देखा है, करीब 15-16 हज़ार रजिस्ट्रेशन हमारे हुए थे, उसमें से 4,000 स्टूडेंट्स ने डिफरेंट पार्ट ऑफ इंडिया से रजिस्ट्रेशन किया है। तो हम लोग तो चाहते हैं कि स्टूडेंट्स आएँ, आके देखें। इसका जो एग्जीबिशन एरिया है वो भी काफ़ी अच्छा है। उसमें भी कई चीज़ें जो वर्कफोर्स डेवलपमेंट के बारे में जो मैंने बात बताई वो स्टूडेंट सेंट्रिक है पूरा का पूरा। प्लस कई चीज़ें आपको सेमीकंडक्टर के बारे में जानने को मिलेंगी। मशीन्स आप देखेंगे, कौन से इक्विपमेंट यूज़ होते हैं, कैसे केमिकल एंड गैसेज की प्योरिटी मैटर करती है, कितना कॉम्प्लेक्स है ये। और कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी के लिए स्टूडेंट्स को मैं बताना चाहता हूँ कि एक 3 नैनोमीटर की चिप जो आजकल कमर्शियल प्रोडक्शन में है, उसमें 100 किलोमीटर की वायरिंग होती है। आप 3 नैनोमीटर की चिप को ठीक से आप उसके साइज़ को अंदाज़ा भी नहीं कर सकते हैं कि कितनी छोटी चिप्स की मैं बात कर रहा हूँ। उसके अंदर में 100 किलोमीटर की वायरिंग होती है। तो आप इमेजिन कर सकते हैं कि ये सेमीकंडक्टर इंडस्ट्री कितना कॉम्प्लेक्स है। तो इससे जुड़े हुए जो भी इक्विपमेंट हैं, टेक्नोलॉजी हैं, सपोर्टिंग यूटिलिटीज़ आइटम हैं, मटेरियल्स हैं, और उसके बाद उससे फाइनल प्रोडक्ट क्या बनता है, मिडिल में क्या कंपोनेंट सब असेंबलीज बनती हैं, सारी कंपनीज़ यहाँ पर आई हुई हैं। तो आपको देखने का मौका मिलेगा जब आप जरूर आइए इसमें।
सर वही एक और क्वेश्चन पूछ रही हैं कि क्या केवल इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स के स्टूडेंट्स ही सेमीकंडक्टर डिज़ाइन कर सकते हैं?
सेमीकंडक्टर डिज़ाइन एक स्पेशलाइज्ड जॉब है और सेमीकंडक्टर डिज़ाइन में सिर्फ सेमीकंडक्टर और इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स के लोग ही शामिल नहीं हैं। वहाँ भी एक फाइनेंस टीम है, वहाँ भी एक मार्केटिंग टीम है, वहाँ भी केमिकल इंजीनियरिंग, मेट्रोलॉजिकल इंजीनियरिंग, मैकेनिकल इंजीनियरिंग, सारे तरह के विधा की आवश्यकता है। और वो सब लोग मिल करके कोई भी जब इनोवेशन करते हैं तो एप्लीकेशन स्पेसिफिक सेमीकंडक्टर चिप्स के डिज़ाइन होते हैं। तो आगे चल करके सब लोगों की आवश्यकता है, केवल इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स इंजीनियर की आवश्यकता नहीं है इसमें।
जी, थैंक यू सर। सर दिस नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज फ्रॉम माइलोज मर्फी लॉ 0700। आफ्टर HCL Foxconn display driver chip ATMP, what preferable step will next be?
हमारी जर्नी शुरू हो गई है और हम लोग धीरे धीरे आप देखेंगे कि नए नए अनाउंसमेंट गवर्नमेंट्स की तरफ से होंगे और हम लोग डिस्प्ले के फील्ड में भी धीरे धीरे आगे बढ़ते जाएंगे। अभी प्रयास हमारा जारी है और सेमीकंडक्टर मिशन का पर्पस ही है कि जो भी सेमीकंडक्टर के लिए रिक्वायर्ड है उसको हम इस्टेब्लिश करेंगे कंट्री के अंदर में, ताकि वो एक क्रिटिकल मास अचीव कर ले। किसी भी चीज़ के लिए जब क्रिटिकल मास आ जाता है तो फिर वो अपने आप होने लगती है। जैसे हम अगर केमिकल गैस और मटेरियल की बात करते हैं तो कोई छोटी सी यूनिट होती है, उसके लिए वो क्रिटिकल मास होता है 1, 2, 3 इस तरह के केमिकल गैसेस के लिए जो वहीं इन हाउस लग जाते हैं। अगर वो एक बड़ा फैब होता है तो 15, 20, 25 केमिकल गैसेस के लिए वो क्रिटिकल मास हो जाता है। अगर 3-4 फैब लग जाते हैं तो 50-100 केमिकल और गैसेस के लिए वो क्रिटिकल मास बन जाता है। और अगर 5 या 10 पैकेजिंग और फैब्रिकेशन प्लांट्स बन जाता है, वो पूरा कंप्लीट इकोसिस्टम को अट्रैक्ट करता है। तो इसी तरह से आप देखेंगे कि हमारी जर्नी होगी और डिस्प्ले में भी इसी तरह से हम आगे बढ़ेंगे।
थैंक यू सर। एक क्वेश्चन ये मिस्टर सिंह जी के लिए आया है। सर चंचल जी पूछ रही हैं, आप अपनी कंपनी में सिर्फ इंजीनियर्स को हायर करते हैं या सेमीकंडक्टर इंडस्ट्री में जुड़ने के लिए और क्या ज़रूरत है?
देखिए, जो मेरी कंपनी है वो एक फैबलेस डिज़ाइन कंपनी है। सो जो फैबलेस कंपनीज होती हैं उनका जो बेसिकली डेवलपमेंट करती हैं, वो सेल्स करती हैं, मार्केटिंग करती हैं, टेस्ट और पैकेजिंग और सप्लाई चेन को मैनेज करती हैं। तो ऐसा नहीं है कि खाली इंजीनियर्स होते हैं। डिपेंडिंग अपॉन हमारा स्केल ऑफ ऑपरेशन क्या है उसके बेसिस पे हम और भी स्किल सेट के लोगों को जोड़ते हैं। और अब जैसे मेरी कंपनी में सेल्स के लोग हैं जो अक्रॉस द वर्ल्ड हैं, मार्केटिंग के लोग हैं, तो इस तरीके के जॉब फंक्शंस भी हैं, बट प्रिडोमिनेंटली इंजीनियरिंग ही है।
जी, थैंक यू सर। Amitesh sir, there's another question from Keshav ji. He is asking, will Semicon India provide dedicated networking spaces for startups to connect with investors and industry leaders?
आप जब वहाँ आएंगे तो एक DLI स्टार्टअप पवेलियन भी है वहाँ पर। तो वहाँ पर हमारे जो स्टार्टअप्स जो शोकेस करेंगे अपनी टेक्नोलॉजी को, उसके अलावा पूरा का पूरा जो इन्वायरमेंट है उसमें आप नेटवर्किंग कर सकते हैं। बहुत स्पेस है बैठने का, लोगों से मिलने का, और डिफरेंट सेशंस भी। जैसे थर्ड डे का मतलब ये है कि 4 सितंबर को फर्स्ट हाफ डेडिकेटेड है DLI स्टार्टअप्स के लिए, DLI फंडिंग के लिए वेंचर कैपिटलिस्ट लोग भी उसमें सेशंस में आएंगे। जो हमारे स्टार्टअप्स आगे बढ़ गए उनके तरफ से आपको कीनोट एड्रेस भी सुनने को मिलेगा कि उन्होंने क्या क्या संघर्ष किए और कैसे वो सक्सेसफुल हुए। तो आप वहाँ आएंगे तो काफ़ी लोग से आपका मिलना जुलना होगा, और ख़ास करके जब वर्कफोर्स डेवलपमेंट पवेलियन में जाएंगे तो वहाँ भी कई लोग होंगे जो कि उस एंगल से आए होंगे। वो भी खोज रहे होंगे कि कौन से प्रॉमिसिंग स्टूडेंट्स हैं जिनको हम देख सकते हैं, ले सकते हैं। तो आप अपने पार्टिसिपेशन की तैयारी कीजिए, बाकी वहाँ पर बैठ करके डिस्कशन आपका हो जाएगा।
Thank you, sir. Colonel Avasthi, I'll take the next question with you, being asked by Halut Du. You think there will be difficulty in finding customers due to competition with the US?
I don't think there'll be any difficulty finding customers. See, while a lot of things are being said about this nanometer paradigm, 3 and 4 and 5 and what have you have to look at your own market. आप अपनी मार्केट देखिए। अमितेश जी ने आपको बोला है, वो COISA में आपको बताया $110 बिलियन की मार्केट होगी 2030 तक। अगर एक मार्केट $110 बिलियन की 2030 तक आपको दिखाई दे रही है, जिसके अंदर आप एक दुनिया के पहले 3 देशों में आते हैं कि जो आपका इतना बड़ा ऑटोमोबाइल सेक्टर है, आपका इंडस्ट्रियल इक्विपमेंट है, आपके वेरिएबल्स हैं, आपके स्केल है, आपकी वॉल्यूम्स हैं, तो आपको ऐसे लगता है कि आपकी कभी भी मार्केट या कस्टमर बेस कभी खत्म होगा? मुझे नहीं लगता, क्योंकि लॉज ऑफ इकोनॉमिक्स एंड डिमांड एंड सप्लाई डू नॉट पॉइंट टुवर्ड्स एनी सच थिंग दैट यू विल हैव अ लैक ऑफ कस्टमर बेस एनी टाइम इन इंडिया।
Thank you.
इसमें मैं और बतलाना चाहता हूँ कि 600 बिलियन का करीब अभी मार्केट है, वो 1 ट्रिलियन का हो जाएगा 2030 तक। तो ये बहुत तेज़ी से आगे बढ़ रहा है, इसमें कोई ऐसी बात नहीं, सबके लिए इसमें सफिशिएंट स्पेस है, और हमारा तो मार्केट ही इतना बड़ा है। और मैं एक इसी माध्यम से अपने लोगों को बताना चाहता हूँ कि वैल्यू एडिशन की भी बात करते हैं हम लोग, कि हमारे यहाँ असेंबली होता है, वैल्यू एडिशन नहीं होती है। तो वो एक साइकिल है जिसको सबको समझना बहुत ज़रूरी है। साइकिल ये है कि पहले हम असेंबली करना शुरू करते हैं, वो ईजीएस्ट वर्क है और स्केल छोटा होता है, क्योंकि वो लेबर इंटेंसिव है, लेबर हमारे यहाँ चीप है, तो वो काम आसानी से हो सकता है। हमारी स्ट्रेंथ नेचुरल रूप से उसमें उभर के आती है। उसमें भी हम पहले सेमी नॉकडाउन स्टेजेस से करते हैं, जिसमें कि बहुत सारी चीज़ें जुड़ी हुई आती हैं, फिर असेंबल करते हैं। फिर कम्प्लीटली नॉकडाउन होता है, जिसमें कि हम और स्ट्रेंथ गेन करते हैं और सब खुली हुई इंडिविजुअल चीज़ों को लेके आते हैं, उसकी असेंबली करते हैं। फिर जब वो स्केल पकड़ लेता है, यानी कि डिमांड क्रिएट होता है, तो कॉम्पोनेंट इकोसिस्टम ग्रो करता है। कॉम्पोनेंट इकोसिस्टम, सब असेंबलीज हम करना शुरू करते हैं। वो जब फर्दर ग्रो करता है और असेंबली का स्केल और बढ़ता चला जाता है, जैसे आप इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स में देख रहे हैं कि हमारे इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स में कई गुना पहले से प्रोडक्शन बढ़ गया है, मोबाइल का प्रोडक्शन बढ़ गया है, एक्सपोर्ट्स भी हो रहे हैं। वो एक स्केल आ गया हमारा, क्योंकि PLI स्कीम गवर्नमेंट उसके लिए लेकर के आई, और उसके पहले भी कई इनिशिएटिव हम लोगों ने लिया था। अब लोग कहते हैं कि वहाँ पर वैल्यू एडिशन 18% है, 20% है। अब कैसे उसको हम वैल्यू एडिशन को बढ़ाएंगे, कैसे उसको डीपन करेंगे? अब गवर्नमेंट ने उसके लिए सेमीकंडक्टर पॉलिसी लेके आए। सेमीकंडक्टर पॉलिसी में मैं आपको बताना चाहता हूँ कि किसी भी प्रोडक्ट में सेमीकंडक्टर का जो रेशियो होता है वो करीब 15% से लेकर के 35%, 40% तक जा सकता है। अगर हम इलेक्ट्रॉनिक व्हीकल्स की बात करें, फ्यूचरिस्टिक इलेक्ट्रॉनिक व्हीकल्स की, तो वहाँ पर 35% से 40% तक सेमीकंडक्टर्स का यूज़ होता है, जो कि सारी चीज़ें, चाहे वो दरवाज़ा खोलना हो, चाहे वो गाना सुनना हो, चाहे छत खोलना हो या कुछ भी करना हो, वो सब इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स होता है। तो इससे हमारा जो मार्केट साइज़ है वो काफ़ी बड़ा होता है, और सेमीकंडक्टर आने से कम 15 से 30-35% वैल्यूएशन और हो जाएगा। इसके बाद का अगला स्टेज है R&D और प्रोडक्ट क्रिएशन, जिसके ऊपर अब गवर्नमेंट ने ध्यान देना शुरू कर दिया है। अभी हमारे यहाँ एक गैप ये है कि प्रोडक्ट्स हमारे नहीं हैं, तो हमारे जो डिज़ाइनर्स हैं, हमारे जो कंपोनेंट मैन्युफैक्चरर्स हैं, उनको प्रोडक्ट कंपनी के पास जाना होता है, और किसी भी प्रोडक्ट कंपनी के पास में जो उनका बोर्ड होता है, यानी कि जो डिज़ाइन वो करते हैं प्रोडक्ट की, उस बोर्ड में सेमीकंडक्टर चिप्स बैठते हैं। वो उसमें एक्सेस देने में आनाकानी करते हैं, क्योंकि उनके चिप्स पहले से कोई ना कोई उसके ऊपर बैठा रहता है। उसको रिप्लेस करने के लिए गवर्नमेंट अपने इंडस्ट्री के लोगों को, चाहे वो कंपोनेंट्स वाले हों, चाहे सेमीकंडक्टर डिज़ाइन स्टार्टअप्स हों, उनको जो फाइनेंशियल इंसेंटिव देती है, उससे वो कॉम्पिटिटिव बनते हैं। उनके अंदर क्षमता आती है, क्योंकि उनका स्केल कम होता है, कॉस्ट ज़्यादा होगा जब स्केल कम होगा, तो गवर्नमेंट के सपोर्ट से वो अपने कॉस्ट को कम कर पाते हैं, कॉम्पिटिटिव लेवल पर उनको बेच पाते हैं, और गवर्नमेंट की ब्रांडिंग से उनको एक सपोर्ट मिलता है कि लोग उस पर ट्रस्ट करते हैं। तो ये भी एक सप्लाई चेन का पार्ट है। तो अंतिम चरण में हम प्रोडक्ट और R&D की तरफ जाएंगे, और 100% तो नहीं, लेकिन जितना अधिक वैल्यू क्रिएशन हो पाएगा हमसे 60-70% वैल्यू एडिशन की तरफ हम आगे बढ़ेंगे फ्यूचर में।
थैंक यू सर। समय का अभाव होने के कारण हम लास्ट के 2 क्वेश्चंस और ले लेते हैं। दिस क्वेश्चन इज फ्रॉम शांतनु बैनर्जीज। आर देयर एनी फ्यूचर विजन रिगार्डिंग इंटीग्रेशन ऑफ क्वांटम सर्किट डिजाइन एंड डेवलपमेंट एंड और फोटोनिक सेमीकंडक्टर डिजाइन एंड मैन्युफैक्चरिंग इन इंडिया?
बिल्कुल प्रयास जारी है। क्वांटम का तो हमारा मिशन ही है,
राइट।
और क्वांटम मिशन में केवल मशीन्स बनाने का नहीं है, उसको बनाने के लिए जितने उसके इंग्रेडिएंट्स हैं उन सब पर पैरेलली काम चल रहा है। और जो आपने जो भी सेक्टर आप सोच सकते हैं सबके लिए सेमीकंडक्टर चिप्स के डिज़ाइन और आगे की स्ट्रेटजी बनी हुई है।
बाय द वे कुछ कंपनीज इंडिया में हैं जो फोटोनिक सेमीकंडक्टर मैन्युफैक्चर करके बेचती भी हैं।
सो बैनर्जी आप प्लीज़ सर से अलग से आप ज़रूर कांटेक्ट करिएगा और सर आपकी हेल्प करेंगे वो बताने में।
और कई कंपनी हम लोग के टच में भी है जो सिलिकॉन फोटोनिक्स से रिलेटेड।
सो फिर मैं सर शांतनु जी को कहूँगी कि वो सेमिकॉन इंडिया इवेंट पे ज़रूर आए और उनके बारे में जानें। सर ये लास्ट क्वेश्चन लेते हैं फ्रॉम अगेन माइलोज मर्फी लॉ। पूछ रहे हैं सीडी पैनल मैन्युफैक्चरिंग प्लांट व्हेन इट विल बी कमिंग दिस ईयर और नेक्स्ट ईयर?
सीडी
पैनल मैन्युफैक्चरिंग प्लांट
3D क्लास?
यस, राइट।
ओके। तो अभी सेमीकंडक्टर प्लांट्स को सेटअप करने में थोड़ा समय लगता है क्योंकि उसका एक प्रोसेस है। और मैं आप लोग को फिर जो अनुराग अवस्थी जी ने बतलाया था कि ये T20 नहीं है, ये मैराथन है। तो यहाँ पर हम लोग 2-3 डिकेड की बात कर रहे हैं। 20-30 साल में हम लोग इस इंडस्ट्री को कम्प्लीटली सेटअप कर देंगे और लीडर बन जाएंगे। अभी जो जर्नी है वो स्टार्ट हुई है और कोई भी प्लांट है उसको कम से कम 1.5 साल से 2 साल लगता है सेटअप करने में। तो आप मान के चल सकते हैं कि इतना समय 3D ग्लास को भी लगेगा।
Thank you so much, sir. This concludes our discussion on SEMICON India 2025 event. We hope we have answered all your questions. To learn more about this world of semiconductors, it is imperative to attend the event happening in Yashobhumi in Dwarka from September 2 to September 4. A heartfelt thanks to our distinguished experts for bringing such fresh insights and diverse perspectives. And of course, a big thank you to our all the viewers, the people who have joined at this hour to make this program a success. Now it's time when I announce the names of our Digital India Question Ninjas. Their names are Swati Verma, Halu Du and Murphy Law. Congratulations to all 3 of you. I request you to kindly share your details on our email ID askourexperts.negd@digitalindia.gov.in. Kindly send us your name, the question you asked, your address where you want the reward to be delivered, and your phone number. Also, a gentle reminder that register now today for the SEMICON India 2025 event. The URL is www.semiconindia.org. इफ़ यू हैव मिस्ड आउट एनी डिटेल्स, आप दोबारा से इस प्रोग्राम के एक्सपर्ट्स के व्यूज़ सुनना चाहते हैं तो आप इसी लिंक पे दोबारा आ सकते हैं। हमारा प्रोग्राम इसी लिंक पे लाइव रहेगा और आप जब डिजिटल इंडिया के ऑफिशियल यूट्यूब चैनल पे जाएंगे तो आपको पिछले वाला जो अगस्त 22 को हमारा एडिशन 1 हुआ था उसमें भी हमने काफ़ी सारी जानकारी सेमिकॉन इंडिया पॉलिसी के बारे में और इस इवेंट के बारे में डिस्कस करी थी। आप उसे भी विस्तार से सुन सकते हैं। For any updates on other Digital India initiatives, you can visit our websites digitalindia.gov.in and negd.gov.in. Till we meet again in the next episode of Ask Our Experts, I, Shipra Abraham, sign off. Stay curious, stay connected. Namaskar.